people said that Hurts was phenomenal in 2022. But the hardest part of the kind of play in the NFL is sustaining it, close quote. Shady, I've been thinking a lot about Jalen Hurts. Some people say he's the second best quarterback in football because he finished second in MVP voting last year. Yeah. Some people say he's the seventh best quarterback in football. Of all the quarterbacks in football, I would say Jalen Hurts and probably Matthew Stafford have the biggest variance amongst how people view them. Anywhere from top 3, Stafford maybe top 5, to like top 10. It's just, there's a huge variance. Is the uncertainty surrounding Jalen Hurts, is that valid in your mind?
When you gave me this question, I got offended. But then as I read through it, I said, you're right. So I agree with it. You know why? Because in this league, you got to be consistent. He had a phenomenal, great year last year. I got to see it again, right? The next year after you ball out, when people know about you, is the hardest year. In 2013, I had the rushing title. Next year, I finished like third in rushing, but it was a lot harder. The defense's game plans was a lot different. So I felt the difference. And always, when I like to compare players, now I can't be biased here. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts. I can't be biased. But if we're just talking ball, and I'm just talking to my guys, right, and my OG Joy here, I'm going to tell you that you got to be consistent. I got to see 3 years, 2 to 3 years of work. Oh, he balled out. I got to say it again. Oh, okay. Now you get that respect. So before I got offended and looked at it and thought of it, you're right. I got to see more consistency to really put him where he needs to be as far as that top dog in the NFL.
Does it take, so in your mind, you played 12 years in the league, you won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Do you need to see 2 to 3 years to be convinced that somebody is good and or bad? For example, Aaron Rodgers, you still think he has it because 2 of the last 3 years he's won MVPs, but last year he was bad.
Yep.
Would you say to make it consolidated, you need to see 2 to 3 years of something?
You know why? Because I tell people all the time, it's hard to be a great player all the time, right? Like think about this. Every time you ball out, right, this year, the next year, the whole freaking game plan is designed to stop you. So as bad as A-Rod played last year, he had a bad year. I got to see it again to believe, okay, man, he's done. He's washed. The same thing with Russ. Russ was real terrible last year. And I'm thinking in my head, like, there's no way he could be that bad. So I got to see consistent work on as bad play or as good play.
Great. Okay, I like that point. Joy, where do you stand? Uncertainty around Jalen Hurts, is it valid?
I mean, the Eagles don't think it's valid. They gave him a record contract.
They gave him a whole chunk of money.
The voters didn't think he was that bad and voted him MVP. He's an all-pro. It's hard to do.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
I just think this list is more offensive than actually having some questions about Jalen Hurts. But again, when it comes to ranking quarterbacks, what does it really mean? Is it just talent?
Oh, I didn't get the list.
Is it like how pretty you throw the ball? Does like winning matter at all? Does that factor into any of this?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me, Shady?
Yeah.
Because, like, I really keep feeling like,
I didn't see the list.
It's a little spicy.
That wasn't a question, but I don't like that list.
I don't like the list either.
Did you set me up?
No, Shady. So the list for context, I believe Mahomes is at 1.
Yeah. So this is the quarterback rankings of all 32 quarterbacks ahead of this season. 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Josh Allen, not upset. Joe Burrow, not upset. This is where I start to get upset.
Yeah.
This is where I start to get upset, Shady. You got Justin Herbert at 4.
Justin Herbert was 4.
All right?
See.
And now I'm really upset because you got Aaron Rodgers at 5. All right? Then you got Lamar Jackson at 6, and then Jalen Hurts. So I just feel like if we're projecting here, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting to look forward to next season based off of what we saw last season. I'm with you in that if you want to see another level, another year of high-level play, which I believe we will see because Jalen Hurts has gotten better every single year that he's played. Now, eventually, obviously, you hit a ceiling, but I don't think he's going to take a step back.
Right.
But my question is, what's the criteria? Is it just all these pretty balls? Like, what is it? Aaron Rodgers didn't have a game over 200 yards this year. How? 300 yards. Like, how is he higher? Like, he's just gonna.
But you think it's valid. Like, you understand why people like LaShawn McCoy, even like myself.
Yes, but I have to sprinkle that same criticism for everyone else also. I feel like it's always with Jalen Hurts. Like, Jalen got to do more. I don't know about Jalen. I know he went to the Super Bowl and played pretty well, but I still feel like Justin Herbert's better. Based off what? Does he play for a team that is devoid of talent? Is he dragging somebody like
over Justin Herbert?
Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs last year. He couldn't beat the Lions to get into the playoffs. Didn't have a game over 300 yards last year. Like, I just want to know You know what I mean? Like, what is the criteria that keeps Jalen outside of these elite conversations?
I think, like Shady said, and in my mind, it was seeing it 2 years in a row. Until I see Aaron Rodgers be bad for 2 years in a row, I'm not writing him off. Slick, until I see Jalen Hurts be good for 2 years in a row, I'm not penciling him in to be top two.
Okay, sure. But Aaron Rodgers, as bad as he was, Jalen Hurts, as good as he was, still somehow flipped Aaron Rodgers to be significantly better because of that criteria?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying I like to see, for me, any player, even when I was playing, I'm not playing, 3 years is a serving size to see how good a player is. That's what I like to go off of.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think we have to define what we are uncertain about when it comes to Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Right.
What are we specifically uncertain about? Am I uncertain that he's a quarterback that I would build around, that the Eagles?
I would.
No, not uncertain about that.
I'm not uncertain about
I'm building with my boy.
You're not uncertain.
Yeah, not uncertain
right.
about that.
Okay.
No.
That he's a good dual threat quarterback.
Not uncertain about
right?
that.
Yeah.
Okay. That he can lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, I'm not uncertain about that.
I am uncertain about that.
That he can take him back to Super Bowl?
Yeah. Whether he can win a Super Bowl, whether he's a guy that, and I take issue with this list too, because I think as of right now, he deserves to be in the top 5.
I mean, according to that criteria, he deserves to be in the top 3.
Okay.
I'm saying easy top 5, easy.
Okay, but is he are we looking at him being a top 5 quarterback over the next 5 years? Are we certain that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback over the next 5 years?
That's why I got to see
correct.
the
I
extra
am not
years.
certain at this point of anything regarding how great Jalen Hurts is and how bad Aaron Rodgers is.
Right.
But why is it always Jalen Hurts?
It's not.
It's Rodgers too. It's just an
No, take Rodgers out of it. Rodgers at the end of his career, maybe he'll have a great year with the Jets, maybe he won't, we don't know. But if he doesn't, it's very easy to write that off as that he is an older player. I'm actually specifically talking about the younger players because I feel like the other younger players, the other younger quarterbacks in the league get so much of a benefit of doubt for not doing as much as what
Lamar
Jalen has
Jackson in
done.
that category?
No, she's talking about the guys in his class, right? Like Justin Herbert and all that.
Lamar Jackson's won an MVP.
I think we're hyping some of the newcomers a little too much, suggesting that, well, their teams weren't as good, so that's why they didn't accomplish as much.
I don't want to hear that.
What you mean?
I mean, I don't want to hear that. Like in football, we don't make excuses, and I get it. Sometimes my team might not be as good as yours, but that's why your team should get players around you. And then for the young guys in Jalen Hurts' case, Justin Herbert, I mean, he got players. He got a lot of players. They can go. The Eagles team is probably better, but they can go star for star.
Let me ask you this.
For the most part,
I don't think I have Jalen Hurts as the 3rd best quarterback in football. I have
Me too.
Patrick Mahomes, I have Joe Burrow, I have Jalen Hurts. But I don't think it's unfair to have Aaron Rodgers ahead of Jalen Hurts, and I don't think it's unfair to have Lamar Jackson ahead of Jalen Hurts. That would put Jalen Hurts right outside the top 5.
Yeah.
Do you think it's unfair to have Justin Herbert?
You know what I'll say?
I'll
say this.
It's unfair.
I would put him, Jalen Hurts, in that top 5, right? But I hear what you're saying, and I can understand it because that was his first year of coming off the porch, and he was like, whoa, wow. Take his team to the Super Bowl, All-Pro. I get that. But the football player in me, yes, I got to see it again. Even I don't think it's not even have to be the Super Bowl route. Just look like just looking like a top quarterback like you did last year, because every year in this league is hard to do.
Because you were there with Josh Allen. Josh Allen drafted in 18, struggled terribly, didn't start. 19 struggled again, but got a little bit better.
He got better
then by
year.
20, it was like, oh, snap.
That's why I take 3 years.
And then by 21 is when we all said, he legit.
Yeah. But you can see it coming, though. Even Joe Burrow. I didn't jump on the Joe Burrow bandwagon at first. I always thought he was really, really good at